Production support for Hot and Cold is brought to you by American Solar Technics, manufacturers of components for wood burning and solar heating systems. I wonder what we could do a TV show on this week. I get it. We'll do it on a toilet. Not just any toilet, a Toto Toilet. This is going to be really cool. This is a different kind of toilet, and we're going to put it in on the show. And, I wonder where where can we put it, I wonder? Maybe right over there. Stay with us. We'll be right back. What do you think? It's a Toto toilet, and it's a Toto one-piece toilet, and we only have to take it out of the box and put it over there, and we'll be all done. That sounds easy. It really is an easy project. This is a very unique toilet. We'll talk more about it in a minute. One thing that Toto is the biggest manufacturer of toilets in the world, and you probably never even have heard of them. I heard of them, but that's about all. And I've done a lot of research on what toilet we want to put in here. This came very highly recommended, and then I found there's been a lot of studies done. These toilets will move more stuff, he said euphemistically, down through with one single flush is a low flow, low flush toilet than any other toilet out there that's a non-power assist toilet. And this is just a regular toilet, so it's not going to be real loud. One thing that strikes me right away is they have Velcro to hold the lid on. Is that cool or what? I'm going to put that in there for the time being. Toto is a good place to look at it. It has a couple of unique things going for it. It has a very quiet fill valve, but it also has, if you can see down in there, a 3-inch water valve. What that means is you get a lot of transfer of fluid down into the tank very quickly, and that's one of the features that makes this a better flushing toilet. But we'll talk more about that in a few minutes. Right now, we have to get ready to set the toilet. Excuse me, if you know anything about toilets, you know that toilets mount on the floor onto what is called a toilet flange. And this is the toilet flange. This is a brand new toilet flange I put on when we did we re-leveled everything. And I covered it with duct tape to keep any smell from coming up. No smell was coming up, but also we're in a little bit more of a rural situation. That's a great place for critters to come down the vent pipe and say, howdy, how are you? We don't want to find that out, so we cover it up. Well, what we have here is a wax ring. Everybody knows what the wax ring is. This is the wax ring, and I forget how I think I used to cut this. You know, I do toilets infrequently enough that maybe I could show you how to mess it up, and then you could do it the right way by watching the show. I'll just peel this off. Yeah, I think you can just set it down. That's right. I knew there was a simpler way. You set it down, you stick your finger in the middle and pull it off, but hey, I'm Tom Gosey. I do it on TV the hard way, so you don't have to. But I'll take it off here. And it also gives us the opportunity to look at it and discuss it a little bit further. The wax ring is very sticky, and sticky for a reason, because it seals the flange, which is here, to the toilet, which is going to set right on top. So what we're going to do is set that right there, right in this. It pretty much self-centers itself. It's a self-centered, egotistical ring. Then we have these, which are toilet bolts. This is a very complex project, setting a toilet. and these slide in here like so, and they have a little, probably I should have done that first. Let's put that ring over there. They have these little tabs. Now there's a slot here, so we can just set that in and slide it right over, and that ain't going nowhere. And then we have these nylon washers that are nuts, if you want to call them that kind of hold it in place. And that goes there. And then we'll put the ring back on again, like so. And we're pretty much ready to set a toilet. What am I going to do for the rest of the show? This is going way too quick. There's just not much to do to set a toilet. It may look like a lot, and the hardest part, the hardest part is getting the old toilet out. I didn't show you that. The old toilet coming out, of course, is full of water, so it's a pretty messy thing. But when you're doing a new bathroom like this, it's so clean. I don't even have to wash my hands. I washed my hands a lot taking the old toilet out. So why don't we do this? Let's get the toilet out of the box and bring it over here and put it in place, and then we'll almost be done. Now, one of the really cool things about putting in a brand new toilet is you could do stuff like this. Hey! Can't do that with a used toilet. A brand new toilet, you can stick your hand down in there and feel what it's all about. And I highly recommend that. I'm not just kidding around. It is a good thing for you to get in there and find where all the little holes are and try to figure out how these things work. Because underneath the rim here, there's all the little holes where the water comes down in. And it's just good to know what's going on. And it's good for you to know what you can't see as well as what you can see. What you can see is the 3-inch flapper that allows a lot of water to get down into here. But what you can't see very well is the trapway, which is down in here. This is a trap. There's water, in a toilet, we always have a level of water inside the tank or inside the bowl. And that's to fill this trap so we don't have that sewer gas I just referred to can come back up and through. It can't if there's water in here. So that's why if a toilet dries out because the house has been vacant for a long time, you're going to have a smell coming up from a septic or from the sewer system. So very important for that to happen. This trapway is glazed, and it's glazing like this. And what that does is it keeps things from sticking on the inside and plugging up the toilet. This is a 2 1/8-inch trapway, so it's fairly sizable. This is a one-piece toilet, so we don't have that gap in between the tank and the bowl. So cleaning is a lot easier because there's nothing there for stuff to accumulate on. So all we need to do now is basically take this and set it up on these little toilet bolts. Let's see how easily Tom's going to make this happen. That piece of plastic tubing we're going to just push to the back for now because we'll have to trim that up. This is not terribly heavy. This is a one-person operation usually. And all I've got to do is set it on the flange. And I've done that now. And now it's up off the floor, 3/8 of an inch. And what I'll do is kind of push it down a little just to seat it there. And now I will take the washers that came. These are actually for the caps to fit onto. Put the metal washer that came with the bolt kit. And I'm going to move this slightly that way. And we're going to put the nut on. Now, if this is installed properly, if this bolt is on the flange properly, we should be able to, it shouldn't spin as you're tightening the thing down. You know what? I got to put the other one on. It's in the back. You can't see it anyway, so we better take a quick break. And I will, this isn't even plumbing. This is just putting the nut on the bolt. So stay with us. We'll be right back. Hey, we're back. And I'm just still hand tightening these. I'm just kind of leaning down on it a little bit, compressing the ring. And I have centered the toilet to where I think it should be. And I now will take an adjustable plier, or adjustable wrench, excuse me, and just tighten up to cinch this up to the floor. We want to be careful not to overdo things. And this is always, you know, when I watch home improvement shows and I watch those home inspection shows, this is something that's always kind of interesting to me is everybody seems to have a toilet that wobbles, and I don't understand why that is. If the toilet wobbles, you need to investigate it. And you saw how easy it was to put this down. It's just as easy to take it up. You need to disconnect the water line, shut off the water, disconnect the water line. You take these two nuts off on either side, and you can easily pick up the whole toilet. You are going to spill water. I personally guarantee that unless you empty the bowl with a tin can or something, you will spill some water on the floor. But that's okay. I mean, that's what Lysol is for, to clean up. And, you know, that water has, I assume you have flushed the toilet, so the water is relatively clean. And you can then do what you need to do. And many times those flanges, if you know there'll be a leak or something, the flange will be loose because the wood is rotted, and you'll need to repair the wood and deal with that. And it's not a big deal, but it does need to be done. Well, I think that's pretty solid. We will check on this again in a little bit. But that's basically almost all of it. We do need to do something else. We do need to hook up the water line. This was the original water line that we had to the old toilet, and something tells me we have to do some trimming here because that ain't gonna fit. So what we'll do is we'll do two things. First things first, we have PEX tubing here, so I cut the crimp ring, and we can somewhat easily, I'll have to get my knife out. We will take that crimp ring and the tube off. I just cut that tube a little bit so we can get in there and remove that. Here we go. Finagle that off, and we can reuse that. And then on this side, we're going to take off this compression fitting for the riser tube. Like butter. Okay. We'll cut this riser right about there where it starts to turn, and we'll take the paper off as well. Now we can put that into the compression fitting. A tubing cutter is pretty much an indispensable thing for anybody who owns a home, I think. Even if you are not what you would consider, if you don't consider yourself a plumber, I think you have to have a tubing cutter. And you know, you can get them at any home center or hardware store. They have really cheap ones that are a couple of bucks, and if you're just using it occasionally, that's fine. Boy, I'm glad I cleaned this ahead of time. There we go. We have to get some solvent to clean all that paper off, and I also have to cut this a little bit more to get all that apart. That's going to be kind of messy, isn't it? Let's try doing that here. Is it time for a break yet? No, it's not. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, let's put this off to the side for a minute. We'll take care of that. We'll get that all straightened out there in the break. We have one more item to install. What do you suppose could be in a box that's just about this size? Could it be the toilet seat? Now, one of the things, toilet seats are easy to put on, aren't they? This is a little different. This is the Toto toilet seat. And it's not just a regular toilet seat, it's a Toto slow close toilet seat. Which means do I dare show you this? If you want to close it, I didn't do it right. We have to put it together. It closes slowly when you put it on. It's called a soft close seat, excuse me. So what we're going to do is read the directions and get all the pieces out here. And there's really not that much to it. These are part of the soft close hardware. I'll tell you what we'll do. We are going to take a quick break here, take care of a little bit of business, because I have a lot of stuff to do that, like oh, I see. It didn't work right because I didn't have it bolted down. Okay. We're going to take a break here. I'm going to get all the pieces together. Remember when I didn't read the directions on the bathroom vanity? You should always read the toilet directions. The bathroom vanity you can redo. The toilet you can't read. Well, this you can redo. But let's take a break. Let me read the directions, clean up the plumbing faux pas problems, and we'll be right back. This is going to be a cool part too. Okay, well, we've got this all taken apart and put back ready to put back together. It's all cleaned up. And what we have here for a compression fitting for a metal or a plastic riser tube is we have the riser tube, which in this case it's very short. And we have a ring, or excuse me, a cone if you want to call it that, that goes over the outside, a compression ring. And then we have a threaded fitting that this inserts into here. Then we tighten that down like so. And we take our adjustable. Usually I forget to put one of these two pieces on when I put it all together, but I remembered both today because I'm an experienced home improvement person. At least I've done it where we've had to cut the tape and take it apart. So we just tighten that up again like we did when we took it apart. The reverse process. And we want to make that nice and snug. Put these over here. That's the next project we have. Now that's ready to put on, but not quite yet. What I want to do is I want to go underneath here and let's get all the stuff out of the way that we don't need. I'm just going to fit this on the, boy, this is claustrophobic. There we go. Going to fit this underneath here and get an idea where I want to be with the tubing. So I want to do a little bit of a S, so I'm going to cut a little bit strong right there. I've got my tubing cutter right here. I'm going to cut so I have to cut a couple times. Bring the tubing out from behind the toilet and we'll just snip it. And you remember I showed you tubing cutter a while ago. It's very easy to use. And now we'll just put this, screw this onto the extension at the bottom of the toilet. And we'll look at this again, and we want to fine tune it a little bit now in terms of where the connection goes. I'm going to get my cutter again. I'm going to do another cut. And now I'm going to take that off the toilet. And I have a crimp ring and a crimper. And you may recall I was also showing you about the crimper in tight quarters. Well, this is one of those quarters. So what we'll do is we can pull this out, put the crimp ring on, put the fitting into the tube, and now open the crimp tool and sneak it around. I apologize for this being hard to see. And wiggle back and forth till I get it where I want it to be. And right there's where I want it. And we crimp it. We are so close to being done, it hurts. And now I get back under here. Just kind of finagle that around a little bit. Oh man, that is sweet. I've done this before, I think. Now we just have to make sure we don't cross thread anything, because I hate when that happens. And we are ready to go. So all we got to do now is go turn the water on and see what happens. Okay, well, I've turned the water on downstairs. I just need to turn the water on here at the riser. That's going to might make some air noise because there's probably some air in the line. It's filling up. It's always fun when plumbing works right, huh? And look, there's water in the toilet. And again, this is one of those rare occasions where you can play in the toilet and nobody thinks you're an odd person. Maybe, maybe not. We'll just let the toilet fill up and we'll see what happens here. All that's working fine. While we're doing that, maybe we can start to get the hardware ready for putting the seat on, because we are going to run out of time. It's done. Should we flush it? Well, why don't we? That was pretty good. You know, I did a lot of research on the internet before we chose this toilet. This was the top of the line in terms of its ability to move material out of the toilet. And I mean, it was top of the line by a couple times over. Again, for a regular flush toilet that is not an air assist, where we have that air chamber like the one we did a few years ago. So that's a very positive thing. Now, one of the things I really like about toilets is plastic seats and plastic fasteners. And here we have a nylon nut and bolt, so that's never going to rust. I'm going to flush that again. Ooh, that's good. All right, and we've got these nice washers here, and we'll just put the washers in place, and we're going to bolt this thing down, and we'll see what happens with the seat. The seat could be one of the cooler parts of the toilet. Well, what I've done is I put the gaskets underneath the seat, that interface between the seat and the toilet. I just tighten those up by hand. Now we open the seat. Now it'll work, right, because it wasn't anchored before. You want to close the seat, right? Look what happens. We're going to run out of time. It's what they call a soft close seat. The seat doesn't slam shut. So you don't have that slamming. If somebody was doing this in the middle of the night, you just kind of get the seat started and you go stumble back to bed. You don't have to worry about waking up someone because the toilet is going to make any noise. Oh, the cluster flies are making more noise than the toilet seat. So what we got to do is put the Velcro. That's a great touch, putting a Velcro holder on the tank cover, like so. We got a couple of little things to put on. We've got some clips that caps that go over the toilet bolts. I couldn't open it fast enough. It stopped flushing before so let me just get back, wrap things up. Biggest manufacturer in the world, big throughput of water, glazed trap, and the study that I read indicates this will move up to 3 times more than we have to ask a toilet, 3 to 4 times, almost 4 times as much as a standard toilet has to move. This one is called the Ultimate, and they do make other models. They make one-piece, two-piece toilets. They make a little bit more colonial. I mean, there was no colonial toilet way back when, but that is pretty slick. Anyway, let's flush it once more and get a close up, because that's fun. I just a new experiment here. Look at that, a new experience. Now the speed with which it moves the water through is going to have an effect on how well it evacuates everything out of the bowl. So that's it. We're all done. Can you believe it? We got to put the caps on. We will caulk around here with a caulk that matches the grout, so we don't have any seepage there, and we're all done. And we're out of time. Can you believe it? I will be happy to give you a link to the website on the radio show. If you want to give us a call, you'll see we're at the end of the show. And this is from FW Web, by the way, and they do have a showroom in Bangor, and you can go look at it and you can try. I think they have the Toto toilets in their restrooms there. So anyway, we got to go. We're out of time. See you next week. Man, we got indoor plumbing again. Oh, that is so cool. Hey, even that part goes down slow too. Is this a great world we live in? Production support for Hot and Cold is brought to you by American Solar Technics, manufacturers of components for wood burning and solar heating systems.